You're listening to theoutdoorstation.co.uk.
Hi everybody and welcome to another Podzine dated the 3rd of December 2007.
It's a podcast. It's a magazine. No, it's a podzine.
Well, hi everybody, here we are in December at last. Yes, it doesn't seem like Christmas, does it? I don't know whether it's the weather, the national spirit, or whatever it is, but it certainly doesn't feel like the Christmas holiday season. And, what do you want to do? Well, to be honest, getting away in a bit of sunshine this year would have been really nice. And talking of weather and travelling, of course, he said a little bit of a plug here. I see people have spotted the new series we've started over at the Outdoor Station called The Travel Show, which is aimed at those leaving the UK and enjoying what the world has to offer on long trips, be they gap year or sabbaticals or just long adventures, really. Now, I've been asked by a couple of people, or it's become obvious, really, that people are struggling with subscription. And that is how to subscribe to these podcasts, whether it's the Podzine or all the other ones. They all come through what is called the same feed. Well, first of all, I want to let people know and reassure them that it doesn't cost anything and it doesn't affect their machine in any way. And when people talk about subscription with podcasts, all you're doing really is linking your machine to a feed, which is basically my way of flagging up. Anytime I release a new program, your machine will say, "Hey, Bob's got a new program over on the Outdoor Station," and then you have the option to download it. The easiest piece of software in many respects is iTunes, and I'll just talk about that for a minute, but the principle is the same for other pieces of software that you can get. And again, there is a software links page on the Outdoor Station, which give you other options if you don't wish to go down the Apple route for whatever reason. But basically, using iTunes, which is on Macs as standard and is free to download for PCs, you literally just obviously power it up and go to, well, there's two ways of doing it. Actually, if you go to the outdoorstation.co.uk and the subscription page, you will see there's a little button that says iTunes users click here, and literally that will open up iTunes on your machine if you've got it, and it will put us straight into the podcast listing page on iTunes. And you will see the entire listing of all the programs that we have done so far with the Outdoor Station. Now, in the preferences of the program, it will give you the option to download everything, or just download the latest program, or don't do anything at all apart from just say there's a new one available. And it'd be great if you could do that, because we're trying to increase our output over the next few weeks, few months, to make it a massive library for people interested. So, if you don't use iTunes, the other way of doing it is on the same subscription page. There is a copy and paste, and it's a little sort of HTTP address. And in your software that you could be using, you would just literally copy that HTTP address, and in the software it will have a section that says subscribe to a podcast, and you just paste it into that section, and once again all the listings of all our programs will appear. So that's that bit. Anyway, let's move on. Thanks for the emails from fans and of course the prize winners. We had 12 prizes go out last week of the Colin Pryor calendars, and people have been naturally thrilled to get those. They were a very large item that came through the post. So yes, thank you very much indeed for your appreciation and your enjoyment on the winning that prize. It's always encouraging to hear from people, of course, whatever's going on, stories of things that are happening possibly next year, in the near future, that you need a bit of promotion on, a little bit of news, gossip, whatever it might be. So please drop us a line to info@theoutdoorstation.co.uk, or you can phone us and leave a voice message on our voicemail number, which is 020 8133 9434. That's 020 8133 9434. And if it's topical, we might even spin the message straight into the programme and we can discuss, as they say. So what have we got on the show? Well, we have got a couple of interviews. We are chatting to Max Graves from Vango about some of the potential hot sellers in the Vango range for 2008. And Lillian Sullivan joins us once again to look at X socks and X undergear. We've got a small diary section. There's not much going on apart from shopping for Christmas, really. And we announced the winner of the Innovate goodie bag. Last week we had a competition to win a Innovate rucksack, one of the new lightweight rucksacks, and a pile of Innovate goodies. And of course we announce our next competition, which is to win some books courtesy of Cicerone Press, but more of that later. First, I noticed a few bloggers picked up on the comment I made last week regarding travellers now having to provide ID papers when travelling on ferries between England and Northern Ireland. This is all part and parcel of the statutory instrument signed off by Jackie Smith and the government, and so there's no debate in the Commons about our rapidly disappearing freedom once again. Well, sadly, this week I had a troubling chat with my accountant. Yeah, you can read into that what you will. But he told me that something I didn't know was, did you know that as of the 15th of December this year, thanks to EU legislation, all accountants will now be legally obliged to audit and means test their customers? In other words, they are entitled and required by law to ask you, if you're a businessman, questions such as, well, what car do you drive and how can you afford to drive that car? How can you afford to go on holiday? What clothes do you wear and all this sort of stuff. In other words, they're doing the job of the Inland Revenue Service. So if they find something a bit sus, they have to report it. And of course, if they don't report it and it gets found out that somebody was massaging figures, shall we say, or moving cash about without the accountant knowing, then the accountant can have his licence revoked. Moving on from that, did you also know that you can now no longer cash a cheque for more than £1,000 at a bank without two forms of ID and some sort of interrogation from the bank? It's their discretion whether they cash a cheque over £1,000. And then going on from that, car dealers will no longer accept cash, cheques or transfers as part of their payment transactions for cars. They'll just accept debit cards. This is getting ridiculous. So this has all come to conclusion, basically saying, yes, personally I think our freedom is on its last legs. We want to have some freedom to move around and get out and about, certainly, but having to carry ID with us all the time and justify who we are and where we are and where the cash has come from, I really don't know if it's a good thing. So if you do have some cash lying around in a tin box under the bed somewhere, I think you better get out and spend it now, because it's going to become a legal form of currency at this rate. Anyway, let's move off the soapbox and on with the show. Max Graves is the senior retailer trainer for Vango products, and I met him recently where he had the 2008 range on show, which contained some great new product developments for next year.
Yeah, the bags we've got is a great collection for 2008. Some nice key models we've got here. Ideally suited at various ranges of activity, from general backpacking and rambling through to lightweight user.
Well, certainly the Vango brand name has spread quite evenly across the Rambler right through to the gap year traveller and the serious hiker and so on. So can we just cherry pick of the 20-30 sacks that are in front of me here? Cherry pick some of the ones and the key features and just go through those.
Of course, yeah. The pack I've got here is the Tyree, which is an ideal rucksack for your hiker who's going off for a day out, just enjoying the great outdoors as it is. Some of the key features on this one is a new airflow back system, which enables the user to maintain a nice cool temperature across the back. Comfort padding with mesh that's going to wick the moisture away, trying to reduce that sweat on the body. Part of the main body of the bag is it's a ripstop fabric, just maintaining that if things do go wrong and you get caught on the barbed wire or a bramble, it's not going to expose all your wares to everybody that is out there with you. Nice neat little pockets on the side and a nice usable map pocket right on the front of the bag for easy access.
Perfect day rambling equipment. And what sort of colours are this going to be available in?
The Tyree is available in an ensign blue, a nice myrtle and sage green, and then a cinnamon and ash.
Oh, lovely. Very 2008.
Very 2008. Some good colours. We've done a lot of work with colour detail this year. Not necessarily just bringing them into the classic red, blue and green colouring, but also bringing them a little bit more into the fashion market.
Well, you certainly seem to have moved on in the design front and on every level, and I see in particular there's a couple of sacks there that stand out as being fitting the lightweight market.
That's correct, yeah, we've done some really good work with the lightweight markets. This is working in conjunction with our sponsorship of the original Mountain Marathon. Working very closely there and trying to get some products that are really suitable for the athletes who take part in that event.
And so, give me some features on the lightweight packs.
Yeah, we've got the Flux, which is the smaller of the two lightweight packs, so with a 30-litre capacity, featuring a very lightweight fabric, so maintaining that lightweight feeling of the bag. Has an area on the front of the sack itself, which is an expanding area, giving you easy access into waterproofs, or if you're cycling, into the cycling helmet area.
Lots of mesh around the outside of the pack there and the front of the pack there to obviously dry your clothing and tent out or whatever. And I see that both the packs come with a substantial hip belt pockets. Yeah, the hip belt pocket's just that nice little feature. So you've got access to either the car keys or the chocolate bar that you need access to on the run as such. So yeah, some really nice features, well thought out within the bag. And what sort of price point are we looking at here? Well, for the Tyree, the Tyree comes in at three sizes. An 18-litre, which is at £30, 25-litre, which is at £35, and then a 35-litre, which is at £40. And for the lightweight sacks, the Flux is at £40 retail, and then the Stealth is at £50 at retail. So that's, 30 and a sort of 48 litre pack? Yeah. Very respectable for somebody wanting to get into adventure racing and so on. Yeah, great prices. We're really looking at sort of making the market accessible for everybody. Excellent. So moving further up the range then in size, what else would you like to show me? We've got a new sack into the marketplace called the Explorer, which is ideal for the Duke of Edinburgh Award markets, people who are looking for their first trekking sack to carry all their kit in. And again, price point on that? Price point on the Explorer is £35. £35? Yeah. That's a remarkable price, really. It's a great bag. It has a size-tolerant back system, so it's really good for juniors growing up. Body contact mesh to it. You've got the nice features of a dual compartment to the bag, a good hard-wearing fabric, and also for the people who are progressing and carrying water on the move, there is hydration compatibility with that sack. All for 35 quid? All for 35 quid. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Now, I see you've got the Contour next to the Explorer, sharing similar features but sort of different materials. What's the story there? Yeah, well, the Explorer is there to get the DOV user, the entry market, people who want to get into the outdoors and not necessarily looking for spending a huge amount of money, but want all the features that you're looking for there. With the Contour, what you have got now is a better, more adjustable back system to the bag, slightly lighter weight fabric, because obviously weight is always an issue when you are looking at a rucksack in itself. But the main features between the two, both of them have main compartments that is dividable into two sections. Both have lid pockets to the bags and both are hydration compatible. It's really down to the back system, the comfort and the fabrication of the bag. And again, price? Got to be the price. Yeah, the price point, well, the Explorer, as we said earlier on, is £35, and the Contour comes in varying sizes from 50 litres at £40 all the way through to an 80-litre rucksack at £50. But what you have got with the Contour rucksack is the smaller sizes. The 50-litre rucksack does come down and have a smaller back system to start with. But again, I mean, at that sort of retail price, you must be expecting this to fly off the shelves next year. Yes, we have had some good success with the bag as it was, and obviously with the new refinements for this season, it's proving to be very popular. Now, let's move around to the sort of more gap year traveller market, because again, that's fairly well catered for with the Vango range. Yeah, well, what we have here is a bag that's been with us for a number of years in itself, but this year's obviously had a bit of a revisit. It's the Sherpa. Now, the Sherpa itself comes in sizes, again, from 50 litres all the way through to a 70 litre with extra capacity. Price range there from £50 to £60. What we have on the Sherpa rucksack is a back system that allows us to adjust to a more finite detail and get it more accurate for the end user there, running on a slider system so that it's not staggered, it is as variable as the user they are, the person themselves. Also with the bag here, because the user may be out there in weather conditions or low light levels, we've actually put into a rain cover that is high visibility, bright orange. Fine. So this is still for the people who are carrying the bag some distance in some format or other?
Yeah, the user here is probably going to be carrying their goods with them, their tents, all their clothing with them in the sack here. This is the sort of first level of people going out and doing a trekking expedition.
Well, we looked at the middle of the Vango range. Now, what do you have at the top of the range? The ones you're really proud of as a rucksack, a backpacking rucksack?
Yeah, the Fitzroy is the top of our collection here. With its great fabrication, great comfort to the carrying of the sack itself, good weight distribution through the hip belt, the padding, and the adjustability of the rucksack.
I see the design is slightly different to the other packs I can see on the rack here. Do you want to just talk me through these?
Yeah, we've gone for a very slender fit here, making it a much easier sack to have the load where it should be on the hips itself. So not only in the 70 litre with extended capacity of 10 have you got the bellows side pockets, we've also introduced a bag with the lowered side pockets to it to keep the weight down onto the hips, reducing any stress and issues with shoulder loading to the bag.
Fine. And what sort of price are we talking about for these?
Price points here, we have a 55 litre, and that's at £75, and then moving up in capacity to a 70 litre, which is at £85.
Is that 70 plus 10, the one that I can see?
That's 70 plus 10, so as it stands it's 70 litres, and then with use of the extra space from the bellowed side pockets, we have the extra 10 litres.
That's people who want to carry all their belongings with them. Obviously, the gap year market, the traveller market, the business traveller market is another area where people don't necessarily want sort of the full features of a rucksack, but do want it as an occasional carrying piece. You've obviously got products here that meet those needs.
Yeah, we have a wide collection of traveller sacks, all the way from the gap year to the person who's doing a longer period out travelling with all their goods with them. Some of the nice features on the bags here is harness covers, so they're not going to get tangled up into airport conveyor systems. We can have either with the Freedom sack, just a harness cover, a front opening which always makes loading very much easier, with a removable day sack. The Freedom itself is 55 to £70.
And is that 100 litre?
That's 80 litres with the main sack, and then a 20 litre day sack that is attached but can be removed from the front.
So ideal for in-flight bag, and everything else is tucked away neatly.
Exactly, everything that you need to hand is on the small day sack, and then all your goods inside.
Do they all come with the tote system?
Yeah, we have, as I say, on the Freedom, a cover for the harness itself, but with both the Traveller and the Trekker sacks that we have here, we have a covering system that can cover it in multiple ways. We have the ability to cover just the harness. We have the ability to use it as a rain cover, covering the main body of the bag, but leaving the harness accessible. And then you can actually connect both the harness and main bag cover together to make a complete tote, making it much more secure through airports and courier systems.
And so what are the orders looking like across the range now for 2008?
The bags have been received very, very well, especially with all the features we've just mentioned there, with the Traveller and the Trekker sacks there. Great value for money with the bags, looking from £80 to £110 for those bags with great features for the Traveller.
Yeah, perfect features for the Traveller, definitely. Just moving around the stand slightly here now, I see that the Vango range of things has really expanded quite dynamically, and I'd noticed that the family camper, those that have the larger dome tents or whatever that need sort of kitchen facilities, shall we say, and tables and storage units, are going to be well catered for.
Yeah, we've got a wide selection of furniture, colour coordinated with the family tents, so it fits in very nicely. You can have the whole story there. We've also got the wardrobe and kitchen units, the tables in various materials, colorations. It's a great storage for both adults and for kids.
And across the other side of the stand there's the sleeping bags, which again is an enormously wide range. But any key products that you're expecting to do particularly well for 2008?
Well, we've got a great collection of sleeping bags for the family camper, with a nice cotton fabric with a brushed cotton lining to the bag, so really, really comfortable, ideal, say, for the family tent. One thing I would like to say is that we actually got a DVD. That DVD details all our family tents being pitched, so you can see how easy they are to pitch. And not only is it a DVD, but also it's downloadable from our website onto iPod or onto mobile phone.
Fantastic, and obviously the website address for people to, I mean, presumably they can see the complete range before they buy a tent anyway, as well as obviously see how to put it up.
Yeah, no, the complete range is available to view on the website. The website address is www.vango.co.uk.
The Podzine. So what's happening soon in the great outdoors? The Podzine Diary.
Right, well, let's have a look at a diary. Not very much going on as regards activities, although I notice quite a few of the forums. That's the Trail Forum, the Outdoors Magic Forum, and the Bushcraft forums are organising some get-togethers over the Christmas period and certainly into the New Year. So it's worthwhile keeping an eye on those websites. That's outdoorsmagic.co.uk, countrywalking.co.uk, and bushcraftuk.com seem to be the three ones that seem to be actively putting things together. I had a quick look around to see what was available, and it's predominantly obviously Christmas based regarding shopping and craft fairs and so on. But up in the Lake District, I found a few things which may be of interest to people, just a handful here. A good male voice choir. There's nothing like a good male voice choir, and that's the Whitehaven Male Voice Choir are doing a concert on Saturday the 15th of December at St. How do you pronounce that? St. Beggs Church, Coach Road in Whitehaven. It's a Christmas celebration concert with special guest soloist, and it's only £6 a ticket. But that's available on letters wmvc.co.uk, and I'm sure that'll be a pleasant evening spent there. Sunday the 16th of December, Maddie Pryor. Do you remember Maddie Pryor? She sang with Mike Oldfield, didn't she? Mike Oldfield and Maddie Pryor. Anyway, she is at the Theatre by the Lake, Lakeside at Keswick, up in Cumbria there. So that's Maddie Pryor and her Carnival Band on 01767 74411. And on Tuesday the 18th of December, just top yourself up before you get into Christmas, I see that Penrith in the Market Square there is Penrith Farmers Market, so you can top up with some healthy organic goodies there, I'm sure, and that's 01768 817817. Now there's also a meeting, a new series of evening classes for men, which is starting, which might be of interest, following on from last week's announcement regarding the 9 words to understand women. And I'll read it to you because it's a 2-day course which you might find interesting. It says, note, first of all, due to the complexity and levels of difficulty, each course will accept a maximum of 8 participants. The course covers 2 days, and the topics covered in this course include: Day 1, how to fill ice cube trays. Step-by-step guide with slide presentation. Toilet rolls. Do they grow on holders? Roundtable discussion. The differences between the laundry basket and the floor. Practicing with hamper. Pictures and graphics. Dishes and silverware. Do they levitate, fly to the kitchen sink, or dishwasher by themselves? And this is obviously a serious debate amongst a panel of experts. Loss of virility. I.e. losing the remote control to your significant other. Helpline and support groups available. Learning how to find things. Start with looking in the right place instead of turning the house upside down whilst screaming. Open forum. And that covers day 1. Day 2, it's quite interesting also. You have, starting off the day with empty milk cartons. Do they belong in the fridge or in the bin? Group discussion and role play. Health Watch. Bringing her flowers is not harmful to your health. PowerPoint presentation. Real men ask for directions when they get lost. Real life testimonial from the one man who did. Is it genetically impossible to sit quietly as she parallel parks? Driving simulation. Living with adults. Basic differences between your mother and your partner. Online class and role playing. How to be the ideal shopping companion. Relaxation exercises, meditation and breathing techniques. Remembering important dates and calling when you're going to be late. Do bring your calendar and PDA to class. And getting over it. Learning how to live with being wrong all of the time. individual counsellors available. And apparently those 2-day courses are taking place throughout the UK starting next year. Anyway, let's move on to our next chat with Lillian Sullivan once again. Lillian, as you probably remember, is the sales director at Ardblair Sports Importers, and they import X-Socks. Once again, their presentation from X-Socks is incredible. It just is just remarkable. I don't know if you've seen some of the paperwork that supports the products. And they are moving forward, as always, for new designs for 2008. And this is what Lillian had to say.
On the X front, we've got a new sock that has really been demanded by the British market, who like thicker socks. So we have a high bulk sock that's a trekking extra warm, and as you can see, it's still very much an X sock with all the technology of left and right foot, X cross bandage and great ventilation, but using a fabric they call Zytaloft, which is a high bulk yarn. Very good warmth to weight ratio. It also uses some merino wool, and it uses Dura wool. So a good warm sock that will go very nicely all through the coldest weather that we have.
And presumably won't smell very much.
No, they use, in this sock, they use agents to prevent smell. It's not a silver footbed in this one, but it will have the skin nador treatment.
Excellent, okay. And I see there's a handful of sort of thicker, warmer winter clothing coming in here as well.
Yes, there is. We've got the new Trekking Extra Warm base layer, which is long sleeve top, long johns. It's very, very technical. You can see here it's compression down over the legs predominantly, less compression in the top, because this is where most of the work's going on. Always we have the area for the sweat traps, air conditioning to move the hot, sticky air through to places where you can afford to lose it and not feel the cold. And then on the back, of course, all the work goes on with this, what's called a turtle back. Think of it as a heat exchange, really. It takes the hot, moist air away, rapidly evaporates off this surface here while ever you're sweating. But if you stop sweating, so much air in here that the air pockets then insulate, and it's very much driven by whether or not you're sweating.
It's obviously a very warm piece, so who do you expect to be using this?
I think this is really for the likes of the Iditarod Trail, maybe offshore workers, electricity workers, people that are not particularly active in how they're, you know, if you're stood on the back of the dog sled, or you sat on a skidoo, something like that, where you do get very, very cold. I think for more active use, people will probably overheat in this one. The accumulator would be better for those people.
And talking about active, there's obviously more being introduced for runners and cyclists by the look of it.
Very much so. There's a whole lot going on here, and it's, as you'd imagine from X-Socks, very, very technical. So on the X-Bionic bike gear, we have a range called Fennec. They've taken the name from the fox, the desert fox. And they're using metallic yarns in here which take the heat away from the body very quickly, but also reflect heat from the surroundings. So it really does make sure you stay cool. The bike top has an extremely long front opening for venting.
It's right down to the navel, isn't it?
It does. Very comfortable cuff at the bottom, so it's not going to ride up, and it is quite a long piece to make sure that when you're bent over on the bike it stays down. Bike pockets as you'd expect, reflector as you'd expect, and exactly as we've just discussed on the Trekking Extra Warm, you have this heat exchange on the back, the turtle back.
And a very natty silver.
A very natty silver. We do offer other colours, but that piece has got a lot of attention, and particularly the younger guys really think that's the business.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a technical piece, but it's also quite an attractive fashion piece as well, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And retail's about $72.50, so you know that's a good-looking piece, very technical, will do the job, and you look good too.
Oh, I love it when it makes you look good. The running gear, is this a new range, or is this a development of the current range?
It's an ongoing development, but it's a totally new range for running, in the way this is new for biking. And the running, available from March, uses the same metal technology as this, so this is the Fennec Race. We also do these in non-metallic, little bit lower price pointed, but these are, if you like, the bells and whistles. This is the one with all the technology in.
And what sort of price are we talking about for
Price here about $62.50
For the tops?
for the tops. Little iPod
Oh, well,
sleeves
yes,
to make sure that everybody's got everything they need with them.
Excellent.
But the same technology is going on in the bike shirt. And then, of course, we've got some little running shorts. We also have running capris that are quite heavy compression over the legs, so that where you need the compression, you're getting it.
And I see you've got cycling shorts as well?
Cycling shorts too, and also cycling bibs. So the cycling shorts, all of the pads are seamless and just very comfortable. High compression on the legs, great cuffs that aren't going to ride up, and they're going to be very, very comfortable. And the bib ones, as you'd expect, come up fairly high with a good fitting bib.
Yeah, excellent. And the response being good for the 2008 market now?
This is brand new. We've just literally shown it here for the first time.
really?
We've not yet shown this to the bike market. The journalists and the young bikers, I've shown a few of the running pieces, and I showed a couple of lads from running stores, and they love it. And it's I want, have you got? Which is always a good sign.
It's
when
a
the
nice
shop
buying
staff
signal, that,
love
isn't it?
Yeah. Have you got any freebies? Can
Yeah.
I test it for you? But yes, I've shown the running stuff, and that's had a good response.
So we can expect to see this springtime next year?
Yes, certainly by Easter.
Machine will have eyes, ears,
The Podzine.
Well, that just brings us now to the final section of the show. First of all, I want to say thanks to my guests, Lillian and Max, for taking the time to chat to me and talk through some of the products for 2008. Keep your eyes open for those wherever you may go for your travels. Now, of course, this is the competition section. And last week we had a competition to win a prize courtesy of Innovate. Oh, lovely people at Innovate, who have donated a 18-litre adventure racing rucksack, one of the new ones, some footbeds, some gaiters and some socks. So that total added up, I think I said about £60 last week, but I think it's more than that. And so we had some entries, naturally. We didn't have as many as normal, so this could be interesting, who gets this one this week. And it is out of the electronic hat. Now, the question was, which race did Innovate sponsor in November 2007? And the answer is, of course, UK Cities Cup race number 6 in Oxford. And we had numerous people with the correct answer, but there can only be one winner. So let's just tap out the machine, enter its special code, and see who wins. And it's yes, here we are. Here we have it. And we have our first European winner. And out of the hat here, we have the name Roman Ackle. Roman, congratulations. You have won the Innovate goodie bag. And that will be going out to you, hopefully, for you to get that in time for Christmas. We do have quite a few international people entering these competitions, by the way. Roman isn't the only one. We've had them from America and Canada, and would you believe, from Australia. So it's just nice to see that people are tuning in. Well, of course, that's that competition. Congratulations to the winner, and thanks once again to Innovate. This week's competition is courtesy of Cicerone Books, Cicerone Press. Now, you may have heard me talking about, in recent times, The National Trails, the new book by Paddy Dillon, which contains a whole range of trails within England, Wales, and Scotland, and long-distance routes and so on, which is fascinating. It's a brilliant book. Congratulations, Paddy, if you're listening to this. It is a first-class book, and it's one of those books you just can't put down. You're forever flipping through, thinking, oh, yeah, actually, I quite fancy that route. I find, yeah, interesting. It's got full of lovely pictures, facts and figures, tells you all the practical things about route maps and sort of accommodation and tourist centres and so on of each particular tour, gives you profiles, and it's a thoroughly good read. It's one that hasn't strayed very far from the bedside, I must admit, and I'm hoping to do some of the days routes on these routes next year if I can. Anyway, we'll make this nice and simple. The answer to the question can be found on the Cicerone Press website, and the question is to win 2 copies of the National Trails book, which are valued at £17 each. How many trails are actually in the book? I've deliberately not included it in my introduction here. There are trails in England, Wales and Scotland. How many trails are actually in this book, The National Trails, now available on Cicerone Press? And please email your answer with your details so I can send the prizes straight out to you. Please to cicerone-competition at theoutdoorsStation.co.uk. That's cicerone-competition at theoutdoorsStation.co.uk. Any other feedback you have for the shows and the work that we're doing, and any sort of positive comments you'd like to slip my way, that'd be really nice. You can do that to the email address, which is info@theoutdoorsStation.co.uk. And as I say, you can always leave a voicemail message on 020 8133 9434, and that's a Skype in number. So if you're on Skype, just dial that in Skype, and you can actually do it straight onto the machine there, and we'll include it, if appropriate, in one of our forthcoming programmes. So that about wraps it up for today. What's that, 35 minutes? That's the end of the show. Many thanks to everybody that's contributed, and obviously our regular listeners. Please pass the information on to people that these shows are available, and hopefully continuing into the new year with even more information and entertainment. So that's about it. Enjoy your Christmas shopping this week, and I'll speak to you in a week's time. Cheers now. Bye-bye.
This independent programme has been brought to you by theoutdoorsStation.co.uk.